Then we see how Choi Sung-ah begins to worry a lot and pray so that they don't think bad things about her. Luckily for the boss, this girl just noticed the cookie crumbs and decided to remove them. Now this girl thinks the department head is clumsy, and Choi Sung-ah felt relieved. While the brown-haired woman was standing next to her on her phone, she was suddenly surprised by something again, and Choi Sung-ah tensed. It turned out that she just saw shocking news on TV, and Choi Sung-ah pretended to be interested. Right now, these two are reading news about people who took a test drive right in their company. Meanwhile, Choi Sung-ah continues to feel very awkward and already wants to leave this Lydia. Then we see how the head of the department tries to simply remain silent, and the girl next to her in turn reads the news. This girl finds out that right now their lunch break will be at a sashimi restaurant. It is precisely because of this that she does not want to lose her VR Vemini and wants to quickly get to the restaurant and eat. After she had already left the elevator, its doors closed and our main character and Choi Sung-ah were left alone. Realizing that everything was calm now, Choi Sung-ah sat down on the ground and couldn't believe that everything went well. Kim Min-woo says that he deliberately did not make unnecessary movements so as not to attract attention, so his patience has not yet run out. Right now, the girl is thinking and understands that they can be caught at any moment if they continue. Choi Sung-ah invites the guy to go to her workplace, where she can show him her collection of Hot Wheels. However, now realizing that she needed to start work, she decided to start sharpening the sword. The main character says that one cannot stop one's temper while on fire, and the girl remains the same. After some time, these two got to the right place, and our main character sat down in his place and offered to arrange a test drive of the Tesla. Then Choi Sung-ah had already chosen her place and made it clear to the guy that she was ready for absolutely anything. After that, she makes it clear to our main character that right now she is going to take her place. However, she says that she cannot find a comfortable position for herself on the spot because right now something seems to be stopping her. She is trying to find a comfortable position for herself, but apparently she can't do this in any way, so she will have to come to terms with it. After a moment, apparently she managed to find a comfortable place for herself, so she is very happy. Then it becomes clear that Kim Min-woo had been waiting for this moment for quite a long time and drove the Tesla into the garage. Meanwhile, the test drive began. Choi Sung-ah tells the main character that if this continues, the fuel tank may leak. Literally seconds later, it becomes clear that her words turned out to be the real truth, because the fuel tank really began to leak. After this, the girl begins to smile very broadly and considers herself a real crazy person. Right now, she's having a blast, even though she should be working. However, while the head of the department was trying to tell Kim Min-woo something, he suddenly interrupted her with his words, surprising the girl. After his words, the guy thought that Choi Sung-ah would be better off if she got rid of the extra rags, but she still doesn't understand what he meant. Our main character reminds her that she insulted him right in front of the new employees and, apparently, the girl already understood what he meant. At the same moment, Kim Min-woo understands perfectly well that this time it's his turn to start humiliating this girl, so he won't miss the opportunity. Kim Min-woo wants to check with Choi Sung-ah whether she understands why he is going to humiliate her, but to her surprise, she does not understand at all what he means. But despite her bewilderment, she wants the guy to do what he must until she remembers why he says that. A moment later, Kim Min-woo took his boss to a painful hold so that she could feel the same pain that he felt when she insulted him. Our main character remembers that she was always very angry with him, with her spoiled expression on her face from this very place. However, right now, her face has changed a lot due to the fact that Kim Min-woo took the initiative, and this Giga Chad understands this very well. A moment later, her shoes fell on Choi Sung-ah's head. She could not have expected something like this, and the fact that he fell from a high place made her feel unpleasant. Kim Min-woo noticed this, and judging by his facial expression, he himself did not expect that this could happen and wants to find out from the girl how he feels. She in turn says that she continues to make mistakes when she is next to the main character, and at the same moment she remembered her first day of work. After her words, Kim Min-woo immediately began to remember the first day of her job when this girl was very kind and inexperienced. Next, Choi Sung-ah asks the guy to calm down right now because her forehead is strong as always, but the guy doesn't understand what she means by her words. While the chief general was in complete bewilderment, she decided to take advantage of this and simply hit him with her strong forehead so that he knew his place. After such an unexpected blow, Kim Min-woo simply grabbed his face, not understanding why the girl did this, and she in turn just laughs. She decided to justify this strange act by saying that it was her expression of sympathy for our main character, but next time she will not do this. After some time, our main character decides to clarify why this girl was so rude to him all the time because he didn't like it. Kim Min-woo also remembers how it all started when he lost his promotion at work. He also decides to confess his feelings. Choi Sung-ah decides to tell the guy that he was very strange from the moment they first met at the meeting, but even now she is his subordinate. The girl tells the guy that it is for this reason that she simply could not be rude to him, and the guy is now at a loss. Even when Choi Suna sat in her car and cried after she screwed up at her job quite badly because she was afraid that she might get fired. Our main character even at that moment came to her and sat in the car in the front seat to support her and reassure her because everything would definitely be fine with her. This girl doesn't understand why Kim Min-woo continues to say that she was very rude to him because she has no reason for this because he is a good guy. It turns out that the girl can't remember the past because of the same button of the main character, which is why her mind seems to be clouded right now. After some time, Choi Suna reminded Kim Min-woo that the fuel tank could leak again, and it did. Further, we understand perfectly well that the patience of our main character has also come to an end. After this, Kim Min-woo realizes that he feels real relief at the moment, but for some reason he feels emotionally uncomfortable. Kim Min-woo feels somehow pathetic after this and realizes that the girl somehow got dirty, which is why he reaches for a box of tissues. However, while this fool was reaching for napkins, he accidentally hit this girl and she felt a little hurt. He wants to find out from her how she feels now. After this, Choi Suna decides to stand up with a very serious face while she allegedly accidentally hit this guy on the head while getting up. Having looked around carefully, the girl decides to clarify with the guy what happened around in this place because apparently she herself cannot understand it. Then, looking at Kim Min-woo, we can understand that he is very scared and at first, not understanding what was happening. Later he realized that her behavior had turned 180 degrees. Realizing what had happened, the guy got even more scared. He remembered about the time limit on his remote control, and now 24 hours have already passed, which means the girl has become the same as before. After this, the frightened guy decided to hide all the evidence as quickly as possible and asks the head of the department to wait a while. In the meantime, he hopes that the button will work again. The girl realized that something wrong was happening, so when she saw the remote control in the hands of the main character, she suddenly decided to take it away from the guy's hands. Of course, Kim Min-woo was not at all happy with the fact that his most favorite thing was taken away from him, so with a trembling voice, he asks the manager to return this thing back. Having carefully examined this remote control, Choi Suna lost her temper and decided to hit our main character in a place that is definitely never worth hitting. Pressing Kim Min-woo with her foot, she wants to hear an explanation from him, namely what was happening here because of this very strange remote control. After her words, the guy realized that now he was not in the best position, so he thought about how exactly he could explain this. Then we see how the girl continues to look at him with a very serious look and wait for an explanation. But the guy is so scared that he cannot say anything. After a while of staring, our main character realizes that he's really screwed up now, so he decides to put his head down and start looking at the floor. The girl repeated her question to find out exactly how he did it. Kim Min-woo is thinking about just starting to apologize to her if it works, of course. Having decided to start looking at the remote control again, Choi Sung-ah decides to clarify how exactly he made her show all her feelings. She thinks that Etor works like hypnosis. Our main character, in turn, listens attentively to this girl. And while he doesn't want to say anything, he wants to understand what she wants from him now. After some time, for obvious reasons, the girl is already tired of repeating the same question to the guy, which is why she wants to find out exactly how he influenced her feelings. The guy can no longer tolerate this torture from the girl, which is why he says that this button just changes interpersonal relationships. Choi Suna finally heard what she wanted to hear from this guy. After that, she silently looks at him, and Kim Min-woo wants to know how she will react to this. The guy makes it clear that he found out that she was rude to him because she cared about him and wanted to make him better, and that's why she made him work harder. Having picked up the remote control, Kim Min-woo does not understand why the remote control does not work, thinking that it is broken, and the girl does not want this to happen again and asks him to stop pressing the button. The girl says that he was to blame for all of this, and also reminds him that he should have noticed that she was constantly clinging to him. However, our ugly hero tells this Choi Sung that even ordinary school children don't bully those they like. The girl says that she herself doesn't know why she did that. It becomes clear to us that this girl always behaves this way with those she likes, but the remote control forced her to start behaving honestly with the main character. Suddenly, our main character decides to turn to Choi Sung-ah again, after which they began to silently look at each other, wondering whether they should sign up for hobby horsing. While the two continued to play staring contest with each other, they were distracted by a security guard who, seeing them, decided to clarify whether their work was still going on. Suddenly, this same security guard realizes with horror that these two are the same people who have been working late for the second day in a row, staying for extra work. Having seen this man, the main character and the girl decided to immediately leave this place with awkward looks. The guy says that they were just about to leave. Before leaving, they wished the man good night, but this guard continued to look after them, suspecting the two of something. Considering 20 years of experience as a security guard, this man understands that these two have a very close relationship with each other, and this is not surprising. This guard is so confident in his assumptions that he is even willing to bet that these two began treating each other this way since they were new employees. Then the course of events is transferred directly into the interior of our protagonist's car, and these two silently look at the floor, thinking about all sorts of events from their lives. It turns out that these two were just gaining courage, after which they simultaneously called each other's names because they urgently wanted to say something. Of course, these two felt very awkward after this turn of events, so they decided to abstain and did not tell each other what they wanted so badly. A moment later, the guy says that it's late now and he's ready to take this girl to her home. At that moment, the girl attracted his attention. She was still able to muster up the courage to urgently say something to our main character. She says that she is now going to talk a little. Judging by the expression on Kim Min-woo's face, he didn't expect at all that the girl would decide to invite him to talk. He understands that they can talk on the way home. However, Kim Min-woo assumes that he perfectly understands what exactly this girl means, after which he agreed to the conversation, and then quietly turned on the heater. In a strange way, they talked a little about work and started talking about something they hadn't talked about for a very long time, namely about the moment when they were new employees. Right now, the two were having a very pleasant conversation. They decided to tell each other about their memories and felt pleasant nostalgia. They continue to laugh for a while, after which the great-grandfather says that in that long time ago, something unusual and interesting was constantly happening. After that, they were silent for a few seconds, and Choi Sung-ah again decided to turn to Kim Min-woo, wanting to find out if he remembers what she now wants to say. Right now, she wants to know if he remembers what they talked about when he came to her car to calm her down at the moment, when she felt sad and cried. Our main character remembered that very moment, and says that even then they started talking about moments that happened to them in the past. The guy thinks that considering his ability to calm someone down, he did it quite well. And judging by the expression on the girl's face, he made her happy. After some time, Kim Min-woo begins to leave the car with a smile on his face, and looking at Choi Suna tells her that they should work hard tomorrow. Choi Suna, with a smile on her face, understands what feelings the guy has towards her, which is why she will tell him something tomorrow. Then we see how Choi Sung-ah sits at her computer in the office and sees a notice that says her name and that she holds the position of department head. After that, she remembers how she approached her boss and realizes that she was too busy that day because of this and did not even have time to confess. She remembers how Kim Min-woo took upon himself the mistake that she made, and because of this he was scolded by his superiors, and he did not receive his promotion, remaining an ordinary employee. Being in tears, the girl tells the guy that he should have become the head of the department, and the guy just asks her not to cry again. After this, the main character is once again going to calm this girl down right now, and offers to go somewhere to drink coffee. Suddenly, the girl again attracted the attention of our main character while he was trying to get out of the car. The guy is now at a loss and does not understand what she wants. Choi Sung-ah, in turn, with a very mysterious look, tells him that as soon as they leave here, tomorrow will come. She also says that she hates the thought of them having to go back to how they were before, so she's going to take action. Suddenly, Choi Suna paid attention to something, and judging by the way she opened her eyes, she saw something that she didn't quite want to see. Then she was overtaken by real horror, because it seems to her that she is now doing something that is not appropriate for her, which is why she thinks that she has gone crazy, and it is best for her to stop. She makes it clear to the main character, and he, in turn, does not understand why she is talking about this right now, because it is really very strange. She says that she is very afraid of being caught, and the main character says that she has always been passionate about relationships and the like. Then our main character finally persuaded us to give a test drive of the Tesla, and Vita Choi Song is not against it. Right now, Choi Song-ah is experiencing feelings unknown to her, but our main character tells her that this is only for the best, and not to worry. She suddenly decides to push Kim Min-woo away a little, and says that she doesn't like this feeling precisely because it makes her feel helpless. After her words, she's going to take all the initiative directly into her own hands and wants to show this guy who is the real boss of this rocking chair. Kim Min-woo, in turn, understands perfectly well that he can't just sit there without making any movements, so he decides to help get rid of a couple of extra rags. After a moment, Choi Suna decides to use cannonballs to show our main character true strength. After that, she decides to check with this professional whether she is doing everything correctly, after which Orn decides to give his honest answer, but it is difficult for him. Next, Choi Suna decides to check with our main character how he really feels, because the expression on his face at the moment is very unusual. She perfectly makes it clear to Kim Min-woo that she is right now going to insult him again with the power that she has now. Of course, this cannot go on for long, and our main character suddenly just ran out of patience, and apparently he himself did not expect this. Then we are shown the car that was test-driven, after which it becomes clear that the guy somehow just hit his head. It turned out that not only the guy but also this girl hit her head, but apparently they hit too hard because they don't even understand how many times they hit. Now we can observe the gaze of Kim Min-woo, who is staring at something and apparently he is very interested in it. After that, our main character invites Choi Song-ga to continue the test drive of the Tesla, and this proposal came as a real shock to this girl. The guy doesn't like the fact that he is the only one who is constantly insulted and humiliated, so he gained strength and is going to do the same to her. However, the girl, as usual, took everything into her own hands and is going to show this Sigma how to properly punish people if that's what he wants. Trying to seem cool, the girl once again hit her head and realized that she had screwed up again. The guy thinks that after this she might have a bump on her head. Then the smart Kim Min-woo pulled the lever so that the seat on which he was sitting moved back because he was very tired today and now wants to rest. Seeing this, Choi Song-ga also realized that their company's machine is really capable of transforming the area into an entire motel with all these features. Then Choi Sona says that she urgently needs to get rid of the extra rags, and it won't take that much time. After some time, the main character decides to say that a volcanic eruption will happen very soon so that everyone will be aware. Now we are convinced that this happened, and that a volcanic eruption actually occurred. After some time, the girl realizes that everything around her has become quite dirty, so she decides to take responsibility and clean everything around with napkins. Kim Min-woo, in turn, decides to ask her forgiveness for this mess because he thinks that all this is his fault, but she asks him not to apologize. She tells him that helping her boss in this way is also the responsibility of her subordinates, so there is nothing wrong with that. Unexpectedly, our main character, who regained all his strength in just a minute, offers to test drive the Tesla again, and Choi Song-ga doesn't understand why he's in a hurry. She reminds him that they still have tomorrow and also the day after tomorrow, but this guy has a reason to do his business now, although he cannot explain. He tried to explain what he was feeling now. He said that it somehow felt like a dream right now. That same button, and also the fact that he was next to Choi Song-ga. And then fortunately, Choi Song-ga understood perfectly what he meant. She understands that he feels that this is all a dream, and does not want to leave him without doing the deed. In this case, the girl, starting to smile widely, tells him that she herself hopes that this is all a dream, and she is ready to spend her whole life in this dream. Then Choi Song-ga decided to ask our guy for a little help, because now something happened that she was not entirely happy about. However, Kim Min-woo, imagining himself as a junior high student, decided to pull her hair as a joke, but apparently she didn't find it funny. At that moment, the girl immediately calmed down, and she noticed that out of anger, she turned to the main character in a very official way without realizing it. Kim Min-woo calms her down and says that it's okay if she did it as a joke, but he's still always scared when she's very angry, and the girl apologized to him. Then they decide to treat our main character to a pie, which he, of course, simply cannot refuse. After some time, the girl became a little angry with Kim Min-woo because he was bothering her with his behavior, and she asked him to start behaving differently. After her words, the guy fell into real bewilderment. He doesn't understand why it's so important for her that he starts behaving differently now. She says that at work they can't see each other's faces because of the fence, even when they sit next to each other. But now she doesn't see him because he does strange things. Choi Soo-na again decides to turn to this fool with his request and says that he wants to clearly see each other's faces this time. It seems to our main character that this girl is worried about various little things, and if you believe her words, then they will see each other every day. Then Choi Song-ga begins to smile widely, letting the main character know that she was not deceiving when she spoke about it. To his surprise, Choi Soo-na realizes that her forehead has healed after Kim Min-woo, despite the fact that she hit it quite hard. The course of events is transferred back to the company building. Choi Song-ga scolds the main character for not doing the work that he should have done last week. In response to this, Kim Min-woo decides to bow to her boss and ask for forgiveness for her actions. The girl already believes that this employee is useless. Meanwhile, two other employees overhear their conversation and realize that Choi Song-ga is once again scolding Kim Min-woo, and apparently it seems strange to them. Then the events are suddenly transferred to some unusual house. Choi Song-ga asks the main character to do his job correctly so that she does not have to scold him. Despite the fact that the guy is now busy with important work, he still decides to talk to the girl and asks for her forgiveness, but he still needs to tell her something. The poor main character says that he is suffering because of his low stamina lately, and because of this, it is difficult for him to do his work. He says that he works a lot and they also play Valorant together at night, so it's because of this that the guy has a lack of sleep. In response, Choi Suna says that she sleeps even less than him, and besides, she needs to do makeup, but Kim Min-woo believes that this is because of the difference between them. After some time, our main character's patience has already run out and the girl tells him that she'll go take a shower right now, and the very tired Kim Min-woo can go to bed. At the same moment, the poor guy realizes that being together for a whole 24 hours does not always mean something good. Sometimes you have to suffer because of it. The next day came, sleep-deprived Kim Min-woo arrived at work late again, and he realizes that Choi Suna didn't wake him up even though she should have done so. Suddenly, from the very beginning, the head of the department begins to shout at the main guy. The guy is about to justify himself to her, but in response, he hears some congratulations. Of course, having heard this addressed to him, the guy fell into bewilderment. Right now, he wants to clarify what this girl meant by congratulating him. Fortunately for Kim Min-woo, she says that the director highly appreciated him, and said that the guy wrote his report this time very well and he is proud of him. Kim Min-woo learns from Choi Sung-ah that the boss even complimented him, calling him a late bloomer, and yet the guy did a great job. Suddenly at this moment, the girl realizes that she went out of her role and started smiling too much, although at the moment she should start screaming at this guy. She is very dependent on the opinions of others, so she again begins to treat the main character rudely and says that under no circumstances would she start caring about him. Apparently everyone already knows about their secret. This man wonders if they really believe that the fact that they are dating will not be known to everyone. Kim Min-woo says that since then their daily life has not changed too much, and he himself is still an ordinary worker. Then we see how night has come, and the girl tells the guy that he will be late again after work, and for this he will need to thank someone. The girl decides to please the main character, and says that if he continues to work well in this way, he will be promoted to head of the department next year. We again see the guard who is watching them, and given his many years of experience, he understands why exactly they behave this way. Kim Min-woo is looking at Choi Sung-ah right now and smiling, understanding the fact that next to her he remains himself, and this does not bother him. However, something has changed besides the fact that she constantly walks next to him, and this is what the guy is going to talk about now. It was their relationship that changed. They became much closer to each other and no longer hide anything from each other. Suddenly, on the way, Choi Suna decided to ask the guy where that mysterious button had gone, and now Kim Min-woo is trying to remember where he put it. The stupid main character says that this thing stopped working, which is why he had to throw it away. Choi Sung-ah is unhappy with this because they could have sold it. Apparently, Choi Sung-ah really liked Kim Min-woo's words, so she, with a wide smile on her face, starting to get rid of extra rags, wants him to repeat them. The guy understands that right now they are going to punish him severely, but he in turn asks not to punish him too harshly tomorrow for being late for work. Suddenly they decide to show us a garbage bag containing that same supposedly non-working button, as if nothing had happened. Some guy was passing by and apparently he was very bored because he decided to turn his attention to this garbage bag and apparently saw this button in it. He did not hesitate to reach into this dirty bag with his hand and take out a button from there. He examines it and tries to understand what it is. After he's racked his brain hard enough, he realizes that it's actually a button, and not knowing what it does, he decides to press it.